What's going on, man?
Nothing much. How you doing?
Thanks for coming on the podcast. You know, this is your first No, you already had a podcast for this. This is your first in-person podcast you've ever done.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you were doing a podcast online. What was the reasoning on that?
So my friend that I was doing the podcast with, she lived all the way in another state in Texas. And, it was a podcast about growth and just personal growth, not really anything career-wise. But yeah, so everything was over Zoom. It was very complicated. It was a tough process. So this is definitely a
little bit better,
situation.
right? Yeah. It's definitely hard for me because people always hit me up like, "Oh, we can do a Zoom," and I'm like, "Dude, I don't do Zoom podcasts. Like, unless you're like someone like super famous that would DM me, which that would never happen. Like, but for me, it's just like if you can't come to my office, like it doesn't really. Right. It's just a different vibe.
Yeah, and the conversation, it's this face to face is so much.
And then if the internet's janky, and then it's just awful. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, reason you're on, you're a little entrepreneur over here, business owner. You know what I mean? You have a train company that does some entertainment stuff. Yeah. You're trying to get your real estate license. You're doing a podcast. You're doing all the things. So like when did you think that, or like know or whatever, that you like doing business and entrepreneur? Like you're a young person. Like some people know. Like did you always know? Like were you like a Gary Vee that was like selling baseball cards and shoveling snow and things like that?
Well, I mean, in third grade, I sold like sharpened pencils.
Oh, really? Yeah.
No, I wouldn't say I necessarily like grew up into like business stuff, but I did start discovering like right after I graduated high school that I really liked real estate. I love looking at houses on Redfin, Zillow, just all day long. It's probably still open on my phone right now. And I was just working at Starbucks at a grocery store, and
which one?
Albertsons and Banning.
Oh,
yeah. But I had this customer that was just, I could tell he was a big business guy and very nice guy, and got the same coffee every day. We became good buddies. He saw how I worked in there. He saw that I, had a smile on my face and, did the whole thing. And I asked him one day, I was like, hey, Starbucks isn't really my dream job.
Yeah.
Didn't really know I didn't really have a goal yet, even though I was graduated. And so I said, hey, do you got anything for me? And he was like, we actually have a full-time position opening up. And that was with a honey production company. So I do, I'm an executive for the distribution and production of honey over in Redlands, Mentone area.
Okay.
And we actually have a machine out here in Riverside on Main Street.
Oh, you do?
Where we sell, yeah.
Where on Main?
At the Arco AM/PM, we sell out of a vending machine. It's a pretty sick thing. But and then from that, I started meeting all his business partners and really getting a good grasp of what doing business was like. And so one of the business partners approached me one day with the offer for the train company, which is a trackless train rental. It's just like a little weekend party gig kind of thing. And
like they have at the mall.
Yeah, or at if you ever go to Rancho Cucamonga at the Victoria Gardens.
Yeah, I was just there yesterday, and they just drive around.
Yeah, same thing.
Do you guys normally hit up like birthday parties, like kids' birthday parties?
Yeah, that's our main thing. 1-year-old birthday parties, believe it or not.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Like I might rent that out. It'd be funny. It would be pretty. It would be pretty funny to do that, like on Main Street, like down in front of my office, like just like us adults, like chilling in the like.
Yeah. We'll put your banners on it.
Yeah, exactly. I like it. Marketing. So for you, like, all right, so you're doing the honey thing. So then, like, you said Starbucks wasn't your main goal in life. Like, what is your main? Like, what is the goal? Like, do you know that yet or no?
I think. Well, we were talking about it a little bit before we started recording. You said you had a friend that talked about doing what you love in life, and I don't necessarily. I have passions. I love gardening. I have little hobby passions, right? But my passion is like growth, seeing development. So whatever that may be, whether it's within the honey company or the train company or whatever business ventures might come along, growth is like that's the goal. It doesn't matter.
I think it's the hard thing is stagnation is for me like the biggest like. When I feel like I'm just spinning my wheels, Right. Like that's where we're kind of at right now. We kind of hit this like spinning wheel, like switching in systems. And so it's like right now we can't figure out like how to like mass email out. Like it's not working. So we've been working on it for like 2 weeks now. And it's like, like stagnation for me is like the biggest. I think that's why I like real estate. It's like, okay, like sell a house, do the process, go to another one. Sell the house, go to the next one. Go to
always
like
a hustle,
always moving forward. Yeah. So you were talking about you did a podcast about mental growth or physical growth or like that? Like, is that something you dive a lot in? Like, are you like consuming a lot of like books and podcasts and?
Yeah. So, I mean, well, therapy was probably not necessarily like self-help books or anything, but I just realized, me and my friend and I realized that, that kind of stagnation, we both graduated, the beginning of COVID 2020. So we didn't get the, real graduation or prom or anything. So we realized a lot of people in our generation, especially, were just stuck, like stagnant, like we were talking about, where they, everybody's got so thrown into the world that no one knows what their passion is. No one knows where they want to move on in life. But no matter what we can always move towards is becoming like a better version of ourselves, right? Yeah. So that was our main goal. We just wanted to talk about what, sometimes personal things in our life, or, just things that we learn as time goes on, because, I'm only 20. So there's obviously so much.
You have a long way to go.
Yeah, right? Like but I do want to, be satisfied with the person I am now, so that when I look back at myself, I'm like, what, that was a good guy,
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's tough. Like, it takes a lot of self just looking yourself in the mirror every day and trying to figure out, like I'm listening to, is it Tim Grover's his name? I think Tim Grover's book, Winning, and like just listening to those chapters is like, man, that's what MJ did, that's what Kobe did, and it's like crazy to think like those people. Like the last chapter I just listened to was difference between like fear and doubt. Like you're going to be scared of things. Like Kobe was scared before games. But doubt is like you doubt yourself. Fear is like going to happen. So it's like controlling the fears and doubts in your mind is what takes, and it's like without consuming content like that, it's like, how do you even know? I think that's the biggest thing now. It's like, I mean, with the internet and with podcasting and with this and that, it's like you really have no more excuses. Like you can consume. You have the choice of what you consume every day. Yeah,
and there's a unlimited.
I know. I just gave up music in the car because I'm like, I drive around all the time, and I have like all these audiobooks and podcasts I need to listen to, and I feel like, and I have tons of books I need to read that are like stacking up, and I'm like, okay, well, you waste all this time driving around listening to music. It's like no more music other than in the gym, and I've been struggling with working out. So it's like, if you really want to listen to music, you have to you'll have to go work out, because that's the only time you can listen to music. And in the car, it has to be something that's going to bring value to you.
Right? I think that's pretty crazy. I don't know that I would ever. I'd have to think about making that kind of commitment, because that's great. Yeah, you're hitting so many birds with one stone.
Well, it's like I just started thinking about it. I'm like, dude, I have all this stuff I want to learn, and I'm wasting all this time, So, because like I literally have a stack of books I need to get to.
Right.
Like, because I just like, I want to see that book, and I get it. So it's like forcing myself to have to like consume that content.
Yeah.
I think the hard part what people don't realize is, and you'll learn this in the future, is like when you're doing well, that's like the hardest spot to be in.
Right.
Because then you kind of like, I'm doing well. Like I'm not like, but when I was like broke and I just started real estate and started this company, like I would consume so much. That was the only thing that mattered to me, because I had to survive. Now it's like, we're doing fine. Everything's doing fine. Right. And then a year goes by and you're like, I haven't grown at all. Like, so then it's like, you have to make these like hard decisions to like, do you want to sacrifice that much to make those things,
Right.
So I think you want to give up music now in the car?
Dude, I don't know. I mean, music is such a, I love it. I love to belt in the car. Anyone that sees me driving,
nothing's better than the windows down and music up. But I was like, I came to a concession. I was like, all right, I got to like, if I want to level up, I need to force myself to do it.
Yeah. But I mean, I think that's great that you know that in order to level up professionally, you got to level up personally too. Like that's I think a lot of people don't, it's like, like you said, if you're doing well, you're making a lot of money. There's a ton of people that make a lot of money. I think that's why so many rich people aren't liked by the general public, because they don't work on being a solid person,
I think the biggest thing, I was at a conference this week and Gary Vee kind of said it to somebody. He's like, we need to change what success is measured in the world. Meaning like everyone measures success by how much money you make. And he's like, at the end of the day, like we've proven that money doesn't make you happy, because there's a lot of people that make a lot of money that are miserable. Yeah. And so like, if we need to stop making that, like it sucks that like now you're younger than me by 14 years. But like when I was a kid, it was like the goal was like 6 figures. Like if you can make 6 figures, now it's $1 million. Like now it's like, if you're not making $1 million a year. And then it's like to think like, dude, if you make 400,000, you're 1% of the income in the United States. Mm-hmm. So when people are like, I want to make $1 million, I'm like, dude, do you know what it takes to make $1 million a year? Like, can you even sacrifice that much to make $1 million a year?
Yeah.
So for you moving forward is like you want to have growth, you're going to do those things. So it's like, are you just leveraging the honey company to then hopefully have that stable income to build other items?
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Because I mean, even that, doing that production and distribution, it's not a dream job. It's nobody going, oh, I can't wait to get to work every day. And there's some days that there's exciting stuff going on, of course, growth growth wise or meetings that are just exciting. But you're spot on, is that it is just a
stepping stone.
Yeah, that's going to be my foundation. And of course, as the business grows, as we get, new buildings, new employees, new everything, I'm going to grow with it. And really, if anything, it's because I didn't go to college or anything that this is going to be my college. Yeah. I have so many great business partners that they're actually, most of them are around your age, that they've been doing this for a while now. So they're great people to learn from. Whereas going to school or whatever, I could learn some good business terminology and stuff, but am I getting into the nitty gritty? Am I getting into numbers and
It's like, in theory, it's easy to explain business, Right. Like it's so funny how many people want to always like coaches or all these other people like, you need to start doing this. I'm like, okay, well that's going to cost us $35,000 a year. What if the results don't come back? Are you going to front the $35,000 that I just spent? Like, I don't think people process that. Like, I have a new agent. I was like, you see that book you have in your hand? That cost me $7 to make you. They're like, what? And I go, that's $7. So, like, it costs so much money that you're just throwing out there that there's no guarantee to get in return. Like even this room is $5,000 easily, Plus Adrian is, a salary per year. Plus we just hired another person to edit this podcast. Wow. Because we want to double down on content so much. And there's no guarantee that's going to make us any money. Right. And that's the gamble. Like when people go like, do you gamble? I'm like, every day. They're like, because I was just in Vegas. People are like, oh, did you gamble? I'm like, I'm not a gambler. And they're like, why? And I go, I gamble enough in my life every day. Yeah. Like I just spent $5,000 on a coaching program for YouTube so we can double down on YouTube. Oh, wow. So it's like I'm gambling, I'm investing in myself. I'd rather put that money there than put it on the blackjack table. Right, because then that's so much more. Yeah, that's so much. That's a better investment. Way better. So what are you doing right now to invest in yourself? Is it just books, being around the right people?
Books is actually something that it's one of those things that when I look in the mirror, I'm like, dang, that's something I need to work on.
Books?
Is reading books.
Yeah, I didn't read a book until I was like 25.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. I didn't read a book. I had never read a book until I was like 25, 27 maybe, 26. Yeah. The first book I read was like Gary Vee's book. So you got plenty of time.
Yeah, I've got books I want to read. Yeah. Like you said, they're on the shelves.
They look pretty in Instagram photos. Yeah. It's like I just posted a super fan book and I'm like, okay, now I have to read it because I posted I got a new book. You know what I mean?
Everyone's got to know.
Yeah, exactly.
But are you going to post when you finish it now? No.
Yeah, exactly. Done. Right. So you want to work on the books.
Yeah. And in terms of like what I'm doing right now to invest in myself is making sure I show up for myself, which is showing up for the people that have faith in me, showing up for, because that's another thing with businesses. I'm sure there's your relationships are so key. Like the people you surround yourself with, it's you could find really nasty people out there. So I want to make sure to invest in myself to make sure I'm the right kind of business partner for everyone else. That's my main thing, being the right asset to other people. Yeah. So that when I do decide to go off on my own, I'm an asset to myself.
I agree. I think that's it's crazy to me that like sometimes it's hard. Do you struggle with, because you're so young, but you kind of around people that are successful? Do you struggle with the friend circle that you have that are in their 20s and what, processing like that? I had that issue when I hit like 26. So did you I actually had that issue my whole life. So are you facing that issue right now?
Ooh, no, I think actually, which the person who contacted me to be on the podcast, Jessica, her son is actually, I've known him since high school, and that whole friend group, it's like a group of, really like roughly like 6, 7. They are very, very well structured people, and they're a little older than me. I've always kind of stuck around people older than me. Like I was sophomore to their senior, whatever, when we were in high school. They are very well structured in their heads. Yeah,
that's important, man. Yeah, like I remember when I was in baseball and I was in the minor leagues, like you know, like all my friends back home were just like party and, you know, they're getting DUIs. And I was like, well, if I get a DUI, then my career's over. So I was like, and then I was hanging out with so much older people. And so I had this big, like people always go like, I've never done a drug in my life. And people are like, dude, how have you never like smoked weed? I'm like, listen, I always had some big thing up there that like, if I did this and it cost me that, like
it's just not worth it.
It's not worth it.
Risk to reward ratio isn't
and
there.
then I got out of baseball, and then I got into this, and I just became like super obsessed with like business because I was sleeping on my buddy's floor and I had no money. I was broke, and my friends were like guys that work 9 to 5s, and they wanted to talk about like oh, who won the baseball game last night? I'm like, who cares? Like that doesn't like, and then so then I'm not friends with those people anymore because I was like, okay, you guys are here. We're here together. I'm trying to get to there, and you guys want to stay there. Like, I'm going to have to separate myself and go find other people.
Yeah.
So at least you have that friend group that's not like that.
I work really hard to make sure I've got the right people around me because that's what everybody's always said, right? Throughout your whole childhood, you are who you surround yourself with.
It's funny. It's, you know, all the Instagram memes are so true. It's like it's so funny, dude. Like, the only difference is it takes way more work than just screenshotting and posting it.
Yeah, it's actually, like
all the things that no one sees. Like another thing in the winning book, it talks about the dark side and talks about like when you wake up at 2 a.m, who's there to like, who are the demons in your brain? Like, are you good enough? Are you this? Is this going to work out? Like, how do you handle the demons?
Right.
You know, and it's true. We've all been there before. I think that's the thing that people don't process. Like, you wake up at 2 a.m. and you can't sleep because you got a big decision to make, or things are going sideways, or, you know, like right now in the real estate market, like there's a lot of people freaking out because the market's slowing down and we might be going into a recession.
Because right now is I just saw this morning that it's the least amount of houses in the process of being sold that's whatever happened or whatever. Yeah, it's pretty.
So, and then the hard part now, the world that we live in that people don't understand is that like every person, any article is made now based on clicks on your article. So bad articles or scary titles make more people click. And so if you're going to write a positive article or a negative article, which one's going to make you more money? A negative article. Even like YouTube videos. Yeah. You make a negative YouTube video, that one always does better than a positive one. So that's the other problem that we have to face now. Information is so easy, but who do you trust where the information's coming from? You know?
Right. Where it's not skewed into making you feel.
Exactly. Yeah. Or just to click on the article. So how does this whole train business work? Right? I'm very interested in the train business. So do you like have one, or do you guys have multiple trains? Do you like drop them off and then pick them up like a jumper?
So all of the above. No, we have two trains. We have
and how much does a train cost? Like if I wanted to buy my own train, how much does a train cost?
Oh, buy your own train.
Yeah.
$80,000 is what they're going for.
That's what they are? Oh my God. I can't believe they're $80,000.
Yeah, it's crazy. We got very lucky. The person we bought the company
used ones?
from. Yeah, we bought used ones. Perfect. We bought from a company that had been going, he personally had been doing it for 8 years. The guy before him had been doing it 5-6 years, however long it was. And he gave us a really good deal. My business partner, Justin, who's a real estate agent in Redlands, he had done real estate transactions with this guy before, and the guy getting older, he just wanted to retire. He gave us I'll tell you, it's actually, he gave us the deal, the truck, the trailer, the place to store the trains, like the big storage container we store the trains in, the 2 trains, and all the other supplies that come with it, including all his previous business, because he has, repeat business, for $30,000.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Dude, I'll tell you what, business is all about catching the person at the right time. Yeah. That's all it is, man. Right. And that's like everyone's freaking out right now with the recession, dude. I'm like pumped. Like I'm excited. Dude, this is going to be great. Yeah. I mean, it sucks that people are going to lose money, but it's like opportunity. Like I listened to a guy speak the other day, and he was like, every time there's been a major change in history, like 9/11, the housing crash, COVID, and now this, he goes, every time I've added 0 to my net worth. Every single time. He's like, you just can't run away. Yeah. All right, so $30,000. That's not bad. I would have gone in for $30,000. Right. So for you, like, what does it cost to rent them?
So for our minimum, hour and a half is $375, not including, gas surcharge. So that's between my business partner and I, we do 50-50 on everything. Of course, there's still costs to the company, everything, but
Are you the one dropping them off?
at the first hour. Yeah, I have run the train too.
You're the one driving the train.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. I have an employee as well that because we have the 2 trains, so we can run 2 all the time. And we're working on getting other people trained so I can do it.
Not as much,
yeah. Right? That's the goal. Have people do it for you and still.
Are you W-2ing those employees or 1099 them?
1099.
Oh, makes sense.
Yeah, just
they're independent contractors.
Yeah, it's because it's only weekend. We do have some weekday stuff. That's our main goal, and that's what I actually really like. What Jessica was telling me about you is how content centered you are, and obviously, right?
Yeah.
Look at your setup. You've got you care about what you put out, and that's the kind of stuff we want to do too. Justin is very content focused too, so he put out an Instagram. The guy before us, he did 0 advertising. He brought in $30,000 a year just doing weekends.
Mm-hmm. Just word of mouth.
Dude,
you can make a cool video. Dude, you probably could.
TikTok that does well.
Oh yeah, that's why I was laughing, dude. Someone was giving me shit the other day. I go, you know how many views my last reel got on Instagram? They're like, what? I'm like 7,500 views. I go, what else are you gonna do for free?
Right.
7,500 people are gonna watch.
Yeah. 0 advertising costs.
0 advertising costs. Yeah. But the hard part is like I went like 6,000, 7,500. 400. I'm like,
yeah.
What the heck? Yeah. I'm like, the 400 was the best video. I was like, dude, what the? And then I'm like, well, the 3 videos before, the thumbnail was wearing a black shirt. Like, does black make more people click on it? I don't know. Like, I'm like, dang it. I was like, man, it was like this. This is so. I was like, cool. Algorithm's working for us now. All of a sudden. Lowest video ever. And I'm like, what the?
Wild.
Yeah, but even like a TikTok. Like, we're not on TikTok. We need to get on TikTok. Adrian, we're going on TikTok. But like, that's the thing. Like, what is a million? What is it? Like, the funny thing about TikTok is, and Jessica's husband just made me realize this. He's a 42-year-old man on TikTok.
Richard.
He's on TikTok. He's 42. He found Gary Vee. Like, I have to stop reminding myself, or I have to stop being the old man that's like, oh, only young people are on TikTok. Like, I have to remind myself, like, that's not true. There are older people on TikTok.
Right.
I just, don't want to do it. But
well, I mean, what's wrong with having the younger people though? I mean, you look at me. There's people like me out there, that that are interested in the stuff that you put out.
So that's why we're gonna do. That's why our TikTok's actually gonna be for realtors.
Okay.
So it's gonna be tips for brand new realtors.
Beautiful.
Because like, there's a huge demand. So I learned at this conference I was at last weekend called Grow with Video Live, and everyone said the same thing. Like, you have to be super niche. Mm-hmm. So you have to be super niche. So when people come to your page, they know exactly what they're getting. And so I was like, all right. So now we've made like 4 or 5 different accounts. So instead of everything going on my main account, it's like, okay, if you're a realtor and you want realtor tips, you got to go to this account. If you're this, you got to go to this. You got to go to this. Go to this. So like, TikTok's gonna be for brand new real estate agents.
Awesome.
Because I think they need tips to do business, man. Like, it's a very hard industry. There's a reason why 87% fail in the first year.
Right.
And so it's like, what are small tips and tricks that I can maybe show you to maybe help you get 1 or 2 deals? And then we leverage.
Little jump start.
Then we get leverage, and we're building a coaching program, selling the coaching program, and then some other stuff we're working on right now. Cool. It's all about multiple streams of income, and hopefully one day someone pays to be a sponsor on this thing.
There you go. Yeah.
So how often are you guys putting out TikToks in the train business?
Well, that's
not
the
yet.
thing. I know, right?
What are you waiting for?
Right? Yeah. What are we?
Justin,
waiting for?
get on it, dude.
Yeah.
Get TikTok.
I think I'll probably.
He's driving the train. You need to be shooting the video.
He handles the Instagram, and we've got a pretty good Instagram base. But it was actually I don't like saying employee that I hired, because he is one of my best friends from high school. Same, Jessica knows him. His name's Chase. Really great guy. He was the one that brought up TikTok to me a few weeks ago, because we only bought the business in February. But he was like, dude, imagine if we did. He showed me like the sound he was thinking about. He's like, what if we did the sound? Because this is what people use for their like really nice, fancy cars. Yeah. And so like, what if we do a reveal where it's like people think it's going to be a car video, but it's just our steam engine.
Like if you just did like one of those super slow mo, like the low angle perfect camera. Editing. Yeah, exactly. And then you jump it in. Like, I remember there was this one video, this real estate video. This guy did, it was this huge mansion, and he did, I'm a big corgi fan. If people don't know that, if you watch the show, obviously you know I like corgis. Yeah. And he had a corgi like in a nice like in a Rolls Royce, and it pulls up to this mansion, and then he jumps out, and there's like all these chicks around, and he's just like this, and I'm like, dude, what a great, funny video. Like that's so like I have one buddy that's named Nate. He's a real estate agent out here. Like he'll show up to like a listing, like he'll do a listing video like on a pony. Like he'll show up like down the street riding a pony to his listing.
Wow.
I'm like, dude. Or like he'll do like like photo shoots with like he'll be sitting in a chair and he'll have like a pumpkin on his head.
Gotta stand out.
I know, man. It's just like that's like the hard part is like when you're not like I don't think I'm that funny. So it's like throwing skits together would take me too long. But we just need to do more. You know what I mean? Put ourselves out there more, and hopefully more tractions, more views. More views is more money, and more money is better life. Yeah. So when are you gonna? Now you got the hard part is the starting point. So what are you waiting on to start on TikTok?
Well, I might go do it today.
Yeah, exactly. Now that
you've put this new hustle into my head.
The hard part is like, do you struggle with this sometimes? Like, obviously you have the honey business, and like I'm assuming the honey company is not like super like TikTok, this kind of stuff.
Right.
Like I feel like you have to be like in a space to like create. And do you sometimes struggle with that because you're like, I'm at the honey business and then I'm going to the train and now I'm driving the train? Like, it's like, when do I have time to like think of like a TikTok?
Right. Yeah. When I'm moving so constantly, I get it. Yeah. Yes. That is an issue.
Struggle,
and
right?
It's also, it's also like in your mind, you always, want to have everything be perfect, and it's like, oh, but if I don't have the right resources, and that's ridiculous because anyone can start anywhere, right? You said you started sleeping on the floor, it's like, how many people start in their garages or whatever, and now you moved up to where you have this podcast space.
And this room wasn't like this. It used to just be a table. You just had black foam on it, and it was just two chairs sitting across.
Wow, yeah.
And then one day I walked in, I'm like, this room sucks, and I like just ripped everything off the wall.
Need a creator space,
a creative space,
and that's. That's a big problem. And I think even with the honey company, it's like the warehouse I'm working in now, it's not the ideal warehouse, and it's not, it doesn't stay as clean as I want it to, and so there is things that I do get mind jumbled sometime, and but yet again, another thing, I look in the mirror and it's something I want to change about myself, and it's something I am working on and will eventually, I believe I will, overcome, because so I will get to TikTok. I will get to doing the things I want to do.
It's funny, like I'll tell people all the time, like, God, we just don't put out enough content. We don't do enough podcasts. And they're like, are you fucking crazy? I'm like, dude, like I just in my brain, I am not doing enough.
It's not ideal. Yeah.
And it's just like we're just gonna start a new podcast show, but a new YouTube channel, and I'm like, every time we go shoot it, like something comes up, and I'm like, okay, we're shooting this day. Nothing comes between me and this shoot, and like you have to like force yourself to do it.
Good. Yeah.
So other than the train, I heard you're possibly thinking about getting your real estate license.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Is it because of your friend Justin, your business partner? It's like making you also think about getting it, or what?
No, that's something I've wanted to do for, like I said, since I graduated, probably since before I graduated high school. I love watching, Selling Sunset and all the. I mean, that's kind of more of a drama reality TV show, but I just love watching house videos, and I would love to be a luxury real estate agent. Be in the hills of wherever,
Yeah, me too. That 500,000 house had 11 cats in it. Kind of sucks down.
Right. I got to start somewhere, But I want to get my real estate license. I was actually in the process of getting my real estate license when I had joined the honey companies. We also do a CBD line of honey, which is e-commerce. But I kind of got distracted by the honey company, and I let the real estate fall through the cracks, and then because I was doing it online, the time that expired or whatever.
Yeah, it's like my broker's license. That was my mistake. I went to start getting my broker's license here. Now it's May, and I haven't done one thing about it yet. I'm like,
and you want it, it would bring you to your next level.
But then it's like, for me, it's like, if I became a broker, does that financially bring me any more value? Probably not. So it's like, am I gonna waste time studying for my broker's license or making content?
Right.
Which one's going to financially benefit me more? Probably that. And like the reason I was taking my broker's license was we were kind of up in the air of what we were going to do with the company, where we're going to work. I was like, maybe I'll just become a broker and I'll just work for myself. But then we got put in a good spot with a good people, with a good company. So now that why factors. Like, I don't even care about being a broker. Like, I'm happy where I'm at now. So it's like, what would make me more beneficial, shooting content or get my broker? Right. I'd rather just shoot content.
Right. Which, I mean, at the time, that was kind of the same mindset for me. Yeah. The honey, you know, because they say it takes, for most agents, they don't sell a house within their first year. Right. So I knew that if I wanted to at least get to some sort of financial stability, I would need to start. And
that's why I think the biggest mistake people make in real estate, they come in broke. That's the biggest mistake. Yeah. You gotta have money when you come into real estate. Like, I had no money. I'm not taking my own advice, but I also like had the ability to have no money. So I had no kids. Me and my fiance just broke up. Like, I had a place I was sleeping rent free. Like, and so I just worked 24/7. I was very fortunate to do a lot of deals in my first year and made a lot of money. Awesome. But too many people come in broke and they can't sustain it, and then they're out because they're like, oh, well, I went 3 months and did a deal, and they don't realize how, you know, it's expensive. Like, you know, you're paying for this, you're paying for your signs, you're paying for this, you're paying for even just Supras and this and that, and then all of a sudden you're like, dude, I spent,
and you're not getting paid that
whole time, and you're not making any money.
Yeah,
you know, and like, I think for me, and then you have to have that motivation. Like, what do you do? And then, like, luckily for me, like, I have 4 or 5 employees, so it's like I have to do deals to cover their payroll every month. You know, I gotta make, like, before the podcast we were talking about, like, I gotta find ways to make other deals, especially right now that the market's kind of slowing down. Like, okay, how do we make more revenue so everyone can get paid? Right. And then and what sucks is, like, so many people think business owners make all the money, but, like, we really don't. Like, people are probably like, oh, dude, like, you're making $400 this weekend on the train. You're like, well, it's actually $2, and then after taxes, it's actually like $100. And then something broke on the train that cost $150, so I'm minus $50 this weekend, plus my time. So for you, like, how much time do you guys have to put on your side hustle? Because the train business is your side hustle, you know? So, like, is the goal to a point to get a 3rd train, a 4th train, like, grow that, bring more employees, and just kind of have that thing running on the side, or what? Yeah,
we actually have a lot of stuff in our minds for wanting to grow that I don't know that we can, because it's so it's in the developmental stages. You know, we want to do like adult trains, and we have connections with, like, Stagecoach and stuff to where we can have a big adult train that's getting run by, like, a 4x4, and, you know, possibly, you know, Palm Springs has that thing where they ride the bicycle thing, and they can drink alcohol on it while they ride. That'd be something great, you know, because, I mean, kid parties are fun, but getting the adults in on it.
Well, they have real money.
Right. The kids aren't spending no money. So there's a lot of things we want to do, and it's just a matter of making sure what we want to invest into it and what we want to put back into it. That's why neither of us are taking profit yet, you know, probably not for the first year at all, even though we are going to make back everything we invested this year. It's incredible. I mean, what other business can you get return on?
That's the greatest thing about real estate.
Yeah.
The best $400 I ever spent.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, the best that $400 investment to get my real estate license was 10x. The best investment. $400 made me, you know, roughly $1 million, like, awesome. And going, you know. But I've also spent a lot of money. That's what people also don't see. I spend about $250,000 to $300,000 a year.
Yeah. Wow.
So it's like, you know, when you have a $25,000 a month bill that you know is coming, you know, it takes a lot of time and a lot of effort, and it's scary, dude.
Right.
It's definitely a scary thing. How do you handle when you were making the decision to buy the train company? Did you guys go 50-50? Like, you throw in $15,000, Justin threw in $15,000? Is that how you worked?
Yeah. So, well, no. It was going to work like that. We decided, actually, Justin wanted to buy the truck for him, personal. So I put in, I think, $9,000, and he put in whatever. And then there was the truck. Putting in my money.
$9,000,
yeah. At, you know, this age, and that was what I'd been saving up since I was working at, you know, 15 and a half. I mean, I wasn't great at saving, but I at least saved that much. It's definitely scary.
What'd your parents say? Obviously, were they involved in the decision?
Not necessarily. I like to keep things when I'm working on things, I keep them really to myself until I know.
Then you're in.
You know, until I'm.
Yeah, it was definitely hard when I built this place. My mom one time came in here, and it was like, I mean, we spent, I don't know how much money I spent. I spent like 50-60 grand on this office to redo it. And I remember her sitting there and, like, you know, everything's still being built, and, you know, half the place is put together and this and the other. And she just was, like, looking around, and she was just like, and I was so scared. Yeah. And, And she was just like, I don't even want to know what this place is costing you. I don't even know this. I don't know why you're doing this. And I just was like, you know what?
Yeah, especially the street you're on, by the way. Good office.
I know, right? The only reason I rented this space was, to be honest, I worked with another broker in this town, and I left on a kind of a sour note. So I wanted to give him the middle finger.
Have the best. Yeah. I was walking up and I was like texting people, or I was texting my boyfriend, and I was like, dude, we're going to live in Riverside and we're going to be walking through. Like, it's just a walkable city. It's nice, you know? Yeah. Anyway.
But it was so true. Like, but my next move's going to be, I think I have 2 more years lease for this place. I want to move from here and buy like a commercial warehouse.
Oh, yeah.
And have more space so I can throw more events. And then I want to put like a golf simulator in there. I want to put like a big kitchen and a bar. I want I want a space where like, it's like, yo, hey, you're going to roll through. Cool. Well, I'm doing a podcast with this person. All right. You mess around on the simulator or whatever. Like, I want to have a space where people are like, yo, are we watching the game there? Like, and then that's like, hey, yeah, that's the energy I want. I want the energy where like clients come here because they want to be here, and then it's just a real estate office on the side.
Right.
You know what I mean? And like, how cool would it be to like have a place where you're like, yo, where you at? Oh, I'm at the office. Cool. We're going to roll through. Like, it's me. Okay, cool. Yeah, bro. We're going to bring some food. We're going to hit on the simulator or whatever. And just a cool vibe where people are listening to music, and just like the last thing you think about is, oh, I don't want to go to a real estate office. I don't want to. And then leverage that space for my clients where it's like, oh, you need to throw a space for an event. You can use our space for free.
There you go.
You know, and then let's bring people in there and like be that thing. That is the next main goal. So buy a commercial building. And do that.
That's awesome. Hey, I all the power to you.
Thanks,
that
man.
sounds, I mean, like,
doesn't that sound awesome?
Yeah. I mean,
right?
That's
like
somewhere I would want to be. You know, I want to come visit.
And then you could come hang out and like, I mean, like Jessica's band could play there and like whatever. You know what I mean?
Tough Monday, by the way. Shout out to Jessica's band.
Yeah. So that's the thing, is like that, where it's just like, how do we create a space where more people want to be there? The biggest hard part that people don't realize in real estate is like, most people don't buy and sell homes that often. So how do you stay in front of them when they're not looking to buy or sell? It's bring other value to it. That's why we have the podcast. That's why we do the media, whatever. But it's like, how cool would it be if we had a badass open space, like warehouse vibe, which people, that's the new feel in.
Yeah.
We pull up the
modern industrial.
Yeah, modern industrial. We pull up the back garage and we can just host parties there like once a month. Like, you're trying to tell me that's not going to equal a real estate business in the floor? Of course it is. Easily.
Yeah, especially.
Because I like having people around me. I'm weird. I like being left alone, but I also like people around me. I'm an introvert, but I have a podcast. This doesn't make any sense. That's when people are like, they'll meet me and I'm like, I don't really want to talk to anyone. They're like, but you talk to everyone. I'm like, yeah, I know, but I really don't like to. I just force myself to do it. Like, I went to a networking event on Monday, talked to one person, left. I'm like, all right, I got to leave. So moving forward, man, like in the perfect world, like, do you give yourself timelines? Like, do you have a timeline for yourself with the train business or getting your license or leaving the honey business or?
Timeline. We do have a kind of timeline. As far as the train business goes, that is the timeline on that. It is pretty much dependent on how this first fiscal year goes with it.
Yeah.
And then timeline with the honey companies, I'll stick with it as long as it's good to me, as long as I feel, like it's bringing me more, because I am high up in it. I'm a partner with them. You know, it's not something that it's like, and I will have a chunk of the change. Like if they decided to sell the business,
you're not just an employee. You're not. You're not just a salary and middle management.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily something I'm looking to lead.
Do you guys do any media for the honey company?
No. We do for our CBD. We have like stickers and stuff that we hand out. It's all very new still. It's all very. We're still just trying to get our, we have lots of demand. Production is hard.
Oh yeah.
It's hard to get right now. I mean, you know, gas prices are up. Nobody knows that honey prices are up double too.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
no one's thinking about like those honey prices.
Right.
We need to focus on those honey prices.
Because seriously, honey's expensive right now. And I mean, even though we have, so many connections with that, and Brandon, the partner who owns bees, and he runs bees across the country year round. His family's been doing it for 7 generations. We have plenty of honey. It's just it is expensive, and getting people to move those giant barrels and getting it, making sure we have machines up and running that can pump that honey. It's such a big process, but we do have lots of demand. So much demand
on the CBD side. On that side,
yeah.
It's crazy how that space is just exploding. It's like now that it's accepted in life, it's like oh, everyone can do it. CBD, that's no big deal. Like everything's like, put CBD on.
I suggest CBD to everybody,
like,
honestly.
like you don't even know if it worked. You're just like CBD. You're like CBD. You're like what? That's not even what I'm asking. CBD. Don't worry. I've actually never done any CBD.
My dog died. No, CBD.
Yeah.
I would suggest it. I could probably. I'll get you some CBD, honey. I'll get it to you from Jessica because it's.
I don't even know.
I've used CBD. I struggled with depression a lot. I'm in remission, thankfully, but. I did use CBD oil for a while and even use some of our CBD honey, and I would do it in the morning and you're not getting high at all. I know you said you've never used drugs. You're not getting high. There's no psychoactive effects. You're not anything, but I know that that weight of anxiety that I'd have going out into the world every day.
Yeah, that goes away.
Yeah.
Really?
Your mind just thinks more straightforward, if anything. You're not, where you're saying you're waking up with demons at night.
Yeah.
CBD can sometimes just kind of get your mind right on the right.
I kind of like
track.
The demons, to be honest.
Oh, they help push you too. They do.
Like when my back's against the walls, but when I do best. I think that's like I know I have like an addicted personality.
I gotcha.
Right, like I become like obsessed. Whatever I'm working on, I become like I dive so hard into, and that's definitely worked well for me. But it's also in my back of my mind, like I know that's something I have to be careful with.
Yeah, it can
like even like alcohol, right? Like I drink, and sometimes I like just have to be like, okay, you need to stop, just to see. Like I don't have, like I have alcohol all through this office. I have no issue.
Stop.
And so it's just to check, like just to be like, can I stop doing this? You know, and sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's like, oh, well, we have this party, we have like this networking event, we have this coming up. It's like, I don't want to go to that thing stinking sober. I hate talking to people. I don't want to go there. You know what I mean? So then you drink, and it's like that slow person, that slow issue. But maybe my assistant says I need it because a lot of people think I do like cocaine because I'm so hyper all the time, and I think I'm normal. Like Jessica and me were arguing yesterday. I'm like, I think I'm a normal guy. I don't think I'm that energy. And she's like, okay. She's like, people think you're on drugs. So how do you said you were texting your boyfriend on the way over here? Yeah. So how does he handle, is he super supportive? My ex-fiance, the reason why we broke up was because I got into real estate and she like couldn't process like, why do you have to work all these times? Why do you got to do work on weekends? Why? Like you're not making, especially with the train, you're not making any money. Why are you doing it? You're not making any money. Yeah. So how supportive is he and what's his background? Does that kind of help you two out? Like,
He wants to get his real estate license too.
Of course. Can
He's
you
a hustler.
Get out of the real. We already have more realtors than ever. Stop.
Right. I know.
Leave.
Young people stay out. We're trying to
stay out.
I know, but it's so good.
But the funny part about it is I want younger people in because they'll want to do this. Like my main goal is I want to be the number one content creation real estate office in the Inland Empire. I want anytime anyone goes online.
I say go for SoCal.
Yeah, for sure. But like anytime anyone goes online, like I want that because I know that it's done so much for me. Like I don't think people realize the power of all of this. So he wants to get into real estate. Yeah,
and like you're he's very supportive. He's good. He never gets upset when I take business calls.
That's good.
He knows.
Yeah.
We both talk about how young we are a lot and how we want to.
Is he the same age as you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
We just want to get there. We want to get to live the life. We want the white picket fence or whatever. So
the analogy I always tell people is this: you have two choices. Two people go to Vegas. Me and you go to Vegas. Okay, but you could stay at the Tropicana and drink the booze you brought on the strip and walk around, and I could be in the penthouse going to all the coolest shows and the cool dinners. We're both in Vegas, but two separate experiences. And that's the thing that people don't get is that you have to sacrifice those trips to get to the other trips. You might not be able to go to Vegas every single weekend. It's like I laugh when people are like, I'm going to Havasu this weekend. I'm going to Havasu this weekend. I'm going to Havasu this weekend. Cool. You can keep going to Havasu every single weekend and you're just going to go to Havasu and you're just going to go on that boat that's not that great and you're just going to do that. I'll go once a year, but it'll be... I'm renting a 5-bedroom house. I'm renting a 5-bedroom house on the water.
Yeah.
Like, because I'm going to sacrifice all those small trips for one big trip. And I think that's the thing that people don't process is like, I'm at a point where it's like, what is an experience that I've never experienced before that other people get to experience on a normal basis, like private. Like I've always wanted to fly private, and I want to fly private just once, just to get that taste,
Right.
So then I'm like, I'm never flying Southwest ever again. We're never flying Southwest, only private everywhere we go. But like, how cool would that be? Like life is full of experiences. It's like, what can you experience, that you never would experience ever before.
Right.
It's like, I don't know where your parents are. My parents, we grew up middle class and whatever. It's like, my parents have never been to Hawaii. They've never been to New York. They've never been here. And it's crazy. It's like, I'm 34 and I've experienced all these things. My parents are in their 60s and they haven't got to experiencing those things. Like, it's cool to go to New York, but it's cool to go to I've gone to New York poor and I was broke, and I've gone to New York with money. New York with money is better than New York poor. Trust me. You know what I mean? Like, it just is. Yeah. And it's sad to say that, like, it's weird, but we talk about money, but it's like, dude, money makes the world go around, and you have to figure out how to make it.
Yeah. I hate the idea of having to, everything in my life has to be around money. And that's why,
it sucks.
That's why I like my gardening and stuff. Cause I know in those moments when
you're checking out,
when I'm picking my snap peas, when it's literally just, you're connected with what the world started as to where, but at the same time, I was born into a world. I didn't ask to be born, but I know that I'm here now.
Yeah.
And I know that the only way I'm going to make it, especially being born, raised SoCal.
It's expensive.
Yeah.
God, dude, I look at families. I'm like, dude, how do you afford it? Like, I'm like, how do you afford all that? Like we went to dinner the other night at Yard House. It was like $180. I was like, dude, we didn't even get alcohol. Like, it was 5 of us. I'm like, how was it so expensive?
Well, that's what I was going to say. I have, you said something about like parents, you grew up middle class. My parents, we grew up pretty poor for the first giant portion of my childhood. And then, my mom, strongest woman I know, she became a nurse, single mother, and she now lives in a big 2-story house by herself. She has a boyfriend. But, and she's got the things she wanted, the things she always looked for. And, we got to move into that big house. We got to move in that big house from having 8 people in a 2-bed, 1-bath to just, and me and my brother sharing a room all the time. And now we have our own rooms, and she's got an office, and she's got a walk-in closet that's the size of the bedroom that me and my brother would share. And but then we have family members who have always made more than her, always made over 6 figures, but they still live in that house because they go out and eat dinner 3 times a week. And it's so you have to sacrifice the little nice experiences. I love going out and eating dinner. Absolutely love it. But I have a budget for it because I know that I want to be able to go out and spend, I want to go and get $1,000 champagne one night because I just want to see if the difference between $1,000 champagne is really that big from the $6 champagne.
I'll tell you what, it's true. I've had Dom a few times. I've had Spade. I've had all of it. I'll take the $65 bottle of champagne over $250. I don't care what anyone says.
It can't be that much better.
I can't taste the difference.
Yeah.
I can't taste the difference. That's why I don't like nice meals. I'm an anti-nice meal guy. One, it's always too expensive.
And smaller portions.
Always smaller portion. And then 2, it's like I eat so fast. I'm like, I could have gone to Outback. I've been perfectly fine. Unless it has like a view or something like that. But for me, like there's a place in Scottsdale, Arizona called City Hall. It's like in a warehouse. It's in like an office building. One of the most expensive I've ever had. I'm like, this is overrated. Like, what am I doing here? I'm out.
Experience wasn't even that big.
No experience. But it's also nice, you get to go try it out, see if you like it. But it's all about balance. I think that's the thing too, is like, you're not going to get, even when you make more money, you're not going to get to experience everything you want. You have to still pick and choose. And that's just part of life. And if you don't want to live that way, then you're always just going to be barely making it, And it's all about happiness, Like I tell people all the time that want to get into real estate, they're like, hey, I want to do blank. And I'm like, okay, do you know what comes with blank? Assistance, overhead, office space, headaches, dealing with more clients, all this stuff. I said, you might do half that and be happy. I could do more deals, but I don't want to because I like where I'm at, and let's figure out other ways to make more money to make me happy. More deals won't make me happy. It'd probably make me less happy. It'd make me more annoyed.
Well, every client comes with a headache.
Every client comes with a headache. Every client. Even
the nicest ones. I know that. it's
dude, the nicest ones, man. Like, it's like I was telling someone the other day, I'm like, they're like, that must have been so nice. You just sold your fiance's mom's house, whatever. I'm like, yeah. I was like, I worked twice as hard. She's like, why? I'm like, because like, you have to like make sure Like, because you don't want something to go wrong, or you don't want them to think that you're taking it easy because you're friends or your family. So it's like friends and family, I work even harder. That sounds crazy to say, because I'm so worried that they're going to be like, oh, well, he took it easy on us because of blah, 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 whatever. So anyways, man, where are we at? We're like an hour. So anything to lead off? Any advice you wanted? You had a podcast to help young people. So what best advice you could give someone who's in their 20s that maybe is a little lost right now, because we've all been there before. How did you kind of pull yourself out of it in a quick little, I don't know if that's possible to do, but
yeah, that's tough one on the spot. No, I think surrounding yourself with people that really care about you. They don't need anything from you. Surround yourself with people that don't need anything.
And that gets really hard when you get bigger and bigger.
Yeah. Then that's what I love about my friend group now, is I've known them so long now, and they're independent. They don't when they want to see me, when they text me because they want to see me.
They don't need something out of you.
They don't need me to bring anything. They don't need me, I'll always offer, and if they say something, I'll bring it. But surround yourself with people that care about you and care about yourself as well. Do the little things that if you like baths, take baths more.
Yeah.
Stupid little things. I like gardening, so I spend an hour at least every day in my garden. Do the little things that take care of yourself, because having that time to clear your mindset. That's why I like music in the car. I got to say that. That's why I like music in the car.
I agree.
Belting it, that's my therapy.
Agree.
That helps
I definitely
helps me be happy
agree.
in my day.
I agree. That's why it's going to be interesting, because I don't know how long I'm going to be able to hold off for. Right. Like, honestly.
I say treat yourself sometimes.
Yeah, everyone's
nothing wrong with treating yourself.
I'm just not happy where I'm at. I feel like I'm stagnating right now. So I need to change the game up to get.
I get you.
I feel like I have like this fat list of things I need to get done. I just need to go and then
I'm in the exact same spot right now.
Like, I feel like I just go do, knock all those things out, catch up on all the books I want, catch up on the podcast, and then I can go back to kind of like sprint. Yeah. I told someone it's a marathon, but you're gonna sprint, then you're gonna slow down a little bit, then you're gonna sprint again, and then you're gonna slow down. Sometimes you're running uphill, sometimes you're running downhill, but you're always running.
Yeah. So then I guess that would be my advice too, is that what you just said, know when you're stagnant too. Yeah. and actually do something about it.
Yeah, one of the best things I got from that winning book was saying most people, when they're unhappy, they feel like they need to add. I need to work out. I need to do this. I need to do that. And he said, you need to subtract first. Subtract the things that don't make you happy before you try to start adding more on, because the things that don't make you happy will outweigh the things that do make you happy. Yeah. So, all right, man.
Right. Well, thanks
for having me on.
Today.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right, guys. If you need to train for a birthday party, hit him up. We'll put his information in. Check out for his TikTok. We're putting him on blast. He's going to have a TikTok by next week, so go follow that. And until next time, guys, peace.